Hi, welcome to Door to Door with your host, me, Judy Stakee. Join me as I travel all over interviewing songwriters about their process. Hi, welcome. I'm sitting here today with John Shanks. John is a multi-platinum selling producer, songwriter, and musician. He's had 43 #1 singles and 86 #1 albums, plus countless cuts from everyone from Sheryl Crow, Michelle Branch to Bon Jovi and Van Halen. Thank you so much for sitting down with me today and talking.
It's my pleasure.
Cool. So what are you up to these days?
I'm in the middle of Take That record.
Oh, cool.
So Take That's a huge English iconic band. And we're in the middle of that record and starting to work a little with Bon Jovi again on his new record. And let's see, just a bunch of different artists, new artists. And
I hear you're working with, doing some writing with Gavin DeGraw.
Gavin DeGraw and I are writing. It's kind of all over the place. So it's exciting.
Great.
It's a lot going on. So.
All right, we'll get down to the 10 questions then.
Uh-oh.
Here we go. Okay. How did we meet?
How did we meet? We met, I believe I was signed to a different publishing company at the time, and I was writing with some of your writers, and we were using the Warner Chappell demo studio.
All right.
I think this is, am I close?
You're very close.
Okay.
You're very close. You used to hang out a lot over at the offices.
Well, because we were demoing.
Because you were demoing.
And I was writing with a bunch of your writers, and you and I just kind of hit upon a rapport, and what felt very organic, and I kept thinking to myself, this is what a publisher is supposed to be. This is who the enthusiasm and the passion and the drive and thinking outside the box, and just me observing how you worked left an impression. So there was always, and I got to a point, not to take anything away from the people I was working with at the time and the other publishing company I was with, but we always would kid about, when's your deal done, and literally the day my deal was over, I called you, and wow, I almost got really emotional. It was one phone call, and
it was a yes.
And it was a yes, and we made it happen, and we had an amazing run. And
9 years.
9 years, and I mean, I could go on.
No,
do you want me to go on?
That's plenty. That's plenty.
I could go on.
Think so.
Okay.
That'll be a whole other interview.
Okay. Hopefully, I'll touch on this, the homage to you later on. So, okay.
What is your creative process?
My creative process. To me, the song is always #1. So how that can manifest itself comes in so many different ways. For me, it used to be, I'm a guitar player first, and so it would come from just me playing guitar and noodling and just kind of come up with a progression. As I got stronger as a writer, I would explore different avenues of that. So you learn to listen a lot. Titles come from conversations, so it can come from anywhere. It can come from, for me, it's really being open and listening and being this antenna, really. Yeah.
You are a conduit.
Yeah, I mean, the good ones happen fast.
You always hear that.
Yeah, and it's true, and sometimes I wonder if it's true because you just trust your instincts and nobody's editing themselves, and so everybody is allowing that channel to be open, and especially because I love collaborating, and when everyone's conduit or funnel or channel is open, no one's second guessing themselves. Right. I'm a big proponent of just write. I don't care how stupid it is, just put it down. Write. It's a hard drive. You can It's just lyrics. You know, we just do. Be in the moment and just write, and the phonics will start becoming clear, and the song will start becoming almost the song. I know this sounds corny, but the song almost tells you what it wants it to be.
Right.
That's when it feels the most natural. Now, sometimes, you know, it's good to be prepared, and sometimes if I know I'm going to be with someone, you know, a certain artist, and especially when I haven't worked with that artist, I'll do some, you know, prelim recon stuff, and I'll go and just say, okay, well, this person sings in this key, his high note is this, the tempos are usually this. You kind of just explore their process. You try to digest their process, and I try to let it marinate within me, so when I can bring something.
Right.
It's always helpful when I go to a situation with an artist, or if they come in with something, or
It does help.
no, I mean, sometimes,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes it's great to come in with nothing, and I've had a lot of success with being scared to death and fearful and not prepared, and which is sometimes, as the flip side to what I just said, is sometimes also great, because then you're completely, it's in the moment, and you're trusting your instincts, and you know, you're taking all these years of experience and woodshedding and writing, and it just, you can just grab it. You can grab these tools and experiences in order to be able to be that spontaneous. So it's kind of, my process is different depending on the situation. You just got to know how to read the moment.
Right.
And that's what keeps it fresh for me.
Fantastic. If you could have one superpower, what would it be and why?
Wow. One superpower.
Only one.
Only one.
Only one. That's all I'm going to grant you.
You know, you think, oh, I want a selfish superpower, but I think to be able to heal. I think that would be my superpower.
Oh,
And that could be
one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I actually didn't think about this before. So I mean, sometimes that means to heal with a song, to heal literally, to heal.
That would be a great.
That would be a great power.
Amazing.
See, you got a little. I can see you got a little
like
emotion
that.
on it. I see.
If I could grant that, I would.
Well,
Totally would.
I heard you had
Done.
an in. So, but I think that would be a good one. I mean, sure, fly or whatever. Right. But to be able to heal.
Mine's fly, so I'll just take everything that you need to. I'll fly it all around for you. So.
Right, but if I could heal anything or anyone through, you know, touching or a song or how amazing. I mean, not.
But you do.
Not.
No, you do already.
Well, hopefully.
With your music, yes.
But there's a song that's interesting, "Pocket Full of Sunshine,"
right.
the Natasha Bedingfield song. That song actually touches on two of the last question and this, because when we wrote that song, we got together, and it was the first time we had written together, and I was with Danielle Brisbois, and it was the three of us, and we wrote a very professional song. You know, we spent the first day, and it was a really good song. And at the end of the day, she was literally leaving, and I had written her this piece of music in anticipation of working with her. And in the course of her getting, you know, putting on her coat and saying, well, next time, you know, we'll try, we came up with this idea. And the idea was, somehow, wouldn't it be great if you had, you know, talking about healing kids with cancer, or in Africa, or whatever the ailment is, that wouldn't it be great if you had this, you know, pocket full of sunshine. And the pocket full of sunshine, literally, this is the way I remember it. I'm sure if you cut to Natasha or something, but I remember it that it was, wouldn't it be great if you had this magic pill? And then what happened, and then it led to the magic pill could be also rave stuff if you wanted to feel, get out of your head, turn it. So this Pocketful of Sunshine was so many things. It could have been sex, it could have been pills to heal you, with cancer or AIDS or whatever your ailment was. And then we left it. We were like, okay, great. Well, when we get together next time, we'll work on that idea. And as she was literally leaving, I blasted the track. I was like, well, let me just play you this track I did for you, because I wanted to be prepared, because we'd never worked.
Right.
And she literally came up behind me, and I was standing right here, and she came up behind me and whispered in my ear. She goes, I got a pocket full of sunshine. I just went, okay, first off, you're not leaving. You're going to be late. So wherever you're going, I literally walked over and locked the door. I said, we have to do this now. And we wrote the song really, really, really fast. Now, you can sit here and be a hater and go, well, the song is so simplistic and it's this and it doesn't really have verses, and it was basically just one giant ringtone. So I'm just using this one song as an example. Right. I mean, I can go back to other songs, but that shows how to stay in the moment, how to work off your instincts, how to be somewhat prepared to be able to make a quick adjustment, because the track was in her key. It was, the tempo was what I, as a fan of hers, wanted to hear from her.
You took that opportunity.
So we took that, and we were all in that moment prepared to create something spontaneous.
Right.
So that touches on the process, and it also touches on
your superhero power, healing.
The healing.
Right.
Yeah.
Pocketful of Sunshine could be anything.
Yes. Yes.
Good answer.
I'm trying. How we doing?
What is your least favorite word to use in a song?
I used to have a real pet peeve about, this is kind of the fire and desire.
Oh, the rhyme of fire and desire.
Yeah. And, the other one is girl and world is always a big one.
Well, now there's girl meets world, so that must be driving you crazy.
Yeah, but I'm saying anytime you hear a song, I'm saying 90% of the time when you hear the word world, I will bet you $1,000 the next rhyme is girl, or vice versa. And most of the time with desire, the next one is fire. Yeah. So there are a couple little things like that where, and I've been guilty of it. The other one, which is I've seen some of your other interviewees say, is tonight.
Yes.
But tonight still works for me for some reason. I think it's definitely been overused in the EDM world, where it's like, tonight is the last night of our life, or we're going to live tonight like it's, the end all be. Tonight. I get it. Tonight we're going to drink, we're going to party, we're going to do whatever I get it. But tonight it's such an "ite" rhyme, and there's, in your eyes tonight, So there's so many amazing "ite" rhymes where desire and fire, it just I think of more 80s rock, or
that's a good description of it.
Yeah. I mean, I read in an article somewhere, I think Bono really hated using fire and desire, even though Desire is one of their big hits. So I'd say those are a couple of my words that I try to avoid.
So what inspires you to get up every day and do this?
It's funny because since I watched the show before, I thought about that a little bit, and for me, this is just who I am. It's just I'm a musician, and I've always been a fan of music. Always, my earliest memory is just that was the safe place for me. Music was the place to get me out of my reality, I guess, in a good way, not necessarily in a bad way. Sometimes in a bad way, but to check out. So my point is the idea of exploration and being in a creative place is a very safe place for me and a very happy place. Even my earliest recollections are sitting at the piano or going off with a guitar and trying to understand it and feeling that it was mine, and it was a very personal experience that you eventually get to share with other people or collaborate with other people. So my point is, what gets me going, even if I'm exhausted at the end of the day, and I think, oh God, this is just so frustrating, or I'm not getting it, and I still wake up and just want to play music. It's just this weird thing I have. I get up and I usually play guitar. I'll get up and play guitar for an hour or 45 minutes. Just play, just noodle and experiment with sounds. I have, a lot of stuff in my house and racks full of guitar stuff, and I'm always trying different pedals, and out of that I usually sometimes I find licks or a melody or an idea, and which is helpful. So when I actually come in here, I have something.
It's great that the music, though, is still inspiring you.
I think, well, we were talking about this a little before, but it can't. I always say this: the process is the destination, where it can't be about the outcome. No. It can't be, and I believe that, and it's sometimes that doubt creeps in, but I can't worry about record sales or an A&R guy. I can't worry about the president of this label or this. This is what I do, and I'm going to keep doing this because I've always done this. And I've had friends say to me, it's about at bats. It's how many times do you get in the batter's box? Not to use a sports analogy, but they're true sometimes. You have to write a lot of songs to become a good songwriter. You have to fail. You have to. I get rejected all the time. I get wins, and I get songs placed, and I work with amazingly talented people, and also I get rejected, and I could have quit at 17 because I was rejected for a song for some TV show, and it broke my heart, and I thought I'd never work again, but that's bullshit. I'm sorry, it's you do it because you love it. You do it for fun and for free. And what happens is you start attracting the people that you want to work with. You start finding your zone. And that's what kind of drives me every day. Because long after this is over, the success and people wanting to actually talk to me about my opinion about something, I still will have this for me. And you just find a different avenue and how to express yourself creatively.
Cool. How do you stay musically current?
I try to listen to everything. I listen to, I'm always just bouncing around. I'm always listening because it doesn't matter what genre of music it is. If there's a cool lick or there's a cool sound or there's a great melody or a phrase, that's what keeps me current. That's what keeps me inspired. And sometimes keeping current isn't necessarily always listening to music. It's a movie, or it's going to a museum, and there's certain artists, contemporary artists that I love, that inspire me. Just not only with sometimes, I love Ed Ruscha, who's a contemporary artist. The way he uses phrases and the way he his colors and just his imagery sparks something in me. So sometimes that's what keeps me. I don't know if it's contemporary but keeps me inspired. Yeah.
All right.
How's that?
That's perfect.
All right.
Do you have a great tip out there for our audience as far as co-writing is concerned?
Co-writing. This is for me personally. If you're in a room, stay open. Stay humble.
Okay.
Try and leave your ego at the door. There's that. Try to. My job is interesting because I'm a producer and a writer. So sometimes I have to try and push things along, and then I have to sometimes learn to acquiesce and back off. So it's really being conscious of the room, and it's being conscious of whom you're working with.
Sure.
So, and there is a difference between working with male artists and female artists. Usually, sometimes the energy is different, and how their processes is sometimes different than men's.
I like how
process.
you call us you women.
I didn't say you. Did I say
Yeah,
you women?
You said you women.
You gals.
You gals.
You kooky gals.
You have a weird process.
I didn't say. Well, I'm sorry if I said you women. I don't mean to be derogatory.
Okay.
It's just everyone has their. So you have to give everyone the space in order to find their way.
Right.
As well as me, I have to have the space to, and that's why I try to create a studio where you can be creative and work fast and stay in the moment and get a lot of different sounds and explore that. What was the question again?
Co-writing tips.
Co-writing tips. Co-writing tips. Right.
Okay. That's good.
I think there's one other little thing. Okay. One other thing is that I think the way Nashville does it, which is that if you and I are in a room, that we're not necessarily worrying about who's dotting the I's and crossing the T's. That we trust that you and I are peers and equals, and that for the most part, if it's an organic, starting from scratch kind of song, that it's a 50-50.
Oh, absolutely.
If it's three of us in the room, they're thirds.
Absolutely.
If it's fours, it's 25. I think people really get hung up on some of that, and I've had a few bad experiences. If you probably remember,
I remember them.
where you actually, where certain artists, in I'd say the prime of their success, try to manipulate their position in that, where you co-write a song with them and then all of a sudden they're wanting more, and myself as the writer will fight on behalf of other writers to make sure that doesn't happen. I'll lose the cut. And there was, I don't know if you want me to tell that kind of story, but sometimes you have to hold the line in order to believe in your song, in your work.
What is the biggest highlight of your career so far? What has been?
Of my career.
Your career.
Of my career. Wow. I could say, I think there are moments when you have for your first number one, or
Producer of the year.
Yeah, producer of the year. The Grammys was a big one.
That was huge.
That was huge because I really, really worked so hard that year. Not that I don't work hard every year, but that year everything.
2005.
Yeah, everything connected that year. There was a lot of number ones. It was a diverse array of artists, so it wasn't just one particular person. It was everyone from Sting and Annie Lennox and Robbie Robertson and Sheryl Crow to Kelly Clarkson and Ashlee Simpson and Michelle Branch and Hilary Duff. So you had this mix of older or career artists and emerging artists. Yeah. So I've had a lot of other moments personally as a musician, playing live or playing Wembley Stadium, or playing the first time at Madison Square Garden, or Woodstock with Melissa Etheridge, and that was those were moments as a kid growing up in New York. Playing Madison Square Garden was amazing, just for me. It was one of those goals.
You've had quite a few of them, then. You've had some very good highlights.
Yeah, I mean, it would take the success would take that was amazing. Winning a Brit for Song of the Year was amazing with them. But I've had other successes which are not necessarily just an award or monetarily speaking. Is that myself as a writer or a producer, that I'm growing, and those are small successes that you have to keep and hold on to for yourself, because then it's not about everything. It's not. It's all the bullshit on the outside. It's about those personal achievements, that I'm getting better as a guitar player, that I'm getting better as a learning software on a computer and how to program, and soft synths, and understanding technology, and then diversifying and branching out from what I do as a writer and developing other aspects, either technical or in the music business or industry.
So,
I love that these are printed. You have to see
like
how
these?
that these are. It's like
I don't mess
they're not
around.
written.
No. I have to be able to see them.
I know.
I have to be able to see them.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I'm just looking at your logo.
You like that?
I do.
Thank you. It's a treble clef.
Okay.
It's my initials, JNS, but it's a
wondering.
treble clef.
Okay.
Cool?
That is cool.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed with you.
Thank you very
I'm very
much.
proud of you.
Thank you very much.
I'm gonna interview you now.
The tables are turned.
That's right.
Here you go.
Okay. Any advice you want to give to up-and-coming songwriters?
Listen to John Shanks.
I can tell you, I can answer this question with you answering your own question. Because this is the stuff you said to me.
Okay.
Do you want to know?
Any advice you want to impart to budding songwriters out there? Okay.
Do you want me to say what you said to me?
Yeah, that would be good. There
Right?
you go.
This is
Okay.
different. I remember sitting in your office and me being like, who am I, and where do I go, and how do I work with this person? And you, the advice and the strength that you gave me, I'm really not going to cry here, is that you helped me with my confidence. So I would say the advice that I would give writers is just do it. Don't be afraid. The fear is amazing how much it gets in the way. I mean, I'll give you an example. There was a kid I signed to a publishing deal last year, and he was thinking of dropping out of college. And he was talented. He sent me a couple tracks, and he was in college, and he was kind of at that crossroads, kind of figuring out who he was as a young man, and I know his dad, and I said, let me just talk to him, and I sat on the phone with him for about 2.5 hours, and kind of went through all his fears and insecurities and his creative process, and I said, this is what I think you should do. I think you should stay in college. I'm going to sign you to a publishing deal. I'm going to give you X amount of dollars so you can just in your dorm write these tracks. And it changed his life, because the way you gave to me, I gave to him, where he feels empowered and he felt supported. And for me as a young writer, to have someone like you be that for me was incredible, because you feel heard. You feel like you have a little team. And even when I was doubting myself, you were giving me that you can do this. I'm going to put you in the room with this guy or this guy. Yeah. Do you remember that one?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
You can either work with this guy or this guy. And that guy happened to be Keith Urban. Right. And the day we met, we wrote Somebody Like You, which was country Billboard Song of the Decade.
It was #1 for 8 weeks.
8 and 9 weeks.
8, 9 weeks.
He closes his show to this day with that song.
Chills.
I know. And we're still close, and we're still friends.
We've written quite a few #1s.
We've written a bunch of songs together, and we're both incredible guitar geeks and pedal and amp geeks.
That's why I put you with him, actually, because I knew how.
Well, he was a guitar player, and he and I just really enjoyed playing guitar together, and out of that came a great song, which came pretty quickly too. So, so my advice is to emulate and take all your influences until you find your own voice. That's another little nugget I always try, because I still do it. You take a little from here and a little from here, and that's what keeps you inspired, and that's what keeps you going. And and befriend the community of writers, befriend your fellow songwriter, because you don't feel alone. You don't feel you're just locked in this room and just, grinding it out.
Well, it's a solitary process, so.
And at times you want that. At times you want to be left alone. I mean, I like that this room is small and it's intimate, and because I think great songs come from that. But there's also a community, and if you're a part of that community and you can share your trials and tribulations with your fellow writer or producer, you can enjoy it more. You don't feel so isolated.
Right. Well, you did a great job. That's it.
Okay. That's it?
That's it. There you go.
No more, huh?
No more.
All right.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. All right.